Hi, welcome to Mama Cooks Love. Today I'm gonna teach you how to make my really delicious and famous eggplant parmesan. Yes, you got it. I learned how to make it when I lived in Italy in the Amalfi Coast, and I was taught and trained by an amazing chef. And when I made it, it turned out to be so good that it became my job to keep making it over and over again for the restaurant. Today, we're gonna focus on perfecting my eggplant parmesan. One last thing to sell you on my eggplant parmesan. When I had my restaurant in Hollywood, I had a couple of customers came in, tried it, screamed, "Mamma mia!" They turned out to be Italian. So let's get cooking and let's make the best, most delicious eggplant parmesan. To make Mama Cooks Love eggplant parmesan, we're gonna need 2 big eggplants, 4 whole eggs, a cup of flour, 2.5 cups of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, a cup and a half of smoked mozzarella, a handful of basil, 2.5 to 3 cups of vegetable oil to fry the eggplant, salt to taste, and a jar of your homemade marinara sauce. The reason why I'm saying homemade is because I have a recipe. I'm linking it down in the description box so you can try it. It is delicious. Once you try this, you'll never go back to store-bought. But I won't judge you if you have a favorite delicious store-bought and you're in a hurry and you'd like to use that. When you buy the eggplant at the store, make sure that it feels heavy for its size. Otherwise, it's a little bit old, and old means bitter. You want to stick to thick, dense, heavy eggplants. There have been times when I couldn't find smoked mozzarella at the store. If you can't find smoked mozzarella, you can use fresh, regular mozzarella and a little bit of smoked Gouda. All right, let's get cooking. First, we're gonna have to cut the tops at the bottoms of the eggplant. And then what I would like to do is to peel them, almost like my daughter says, zebra. So top to bottom, and voila. Now I'm gonna teach you a little trick. And I've learned that actually a long time ago before I even went to Italy. I learned that from my mama. It's a really good idea when you slice your eggplants to salt them. Salt will draw all the bitterness out of your eggplant. Now, when you cut your eggplants, make sure to cut them lengthwise. It makes it easier to cover the bottom of your tray. Now to the second. All right. So now I have both my eggplants are sliced, and I'm gonna teach you how to get rid of the bitterness in the eggplant. The way I like to do it is layer with salt. So every time I put in a piece of eggplant, I salt it. I have it set up in a colander with a bowl to catch all the dark, bitter water that comes out. And then we're gonna rinse the eggplant, so don't worry, it's not gonna be salty. And by the time we're fixing the rest of the ingredients, the eggplant should be already done and the bitterness should be already out from it. The eggplant should be done with the bitter, dark water out of it within 10 to 15 minutes. Alrighty, now here's my trick. I like to use my sauce jar to weigh it down. That way, I don't have to go and fetch something else. I'm gonna use this time to clean up, and then we should get into dredging and frying. It's really easy. I'll show you how to do it. So it's been about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna start setting up the dredging station. And this is what it is. It is the cup of flour with a pinch of salt, and then we're gonna break our eggs and mix them with Parmesan. That's why it's called eggplant Parmesan. Salt and pepper. The Parmesan cheese goes in as well. Not all of it. I'm gonna reserve about a cup. So I'm using a cup and a half here. Now this is freshly grated Parmesan. I prefer to use that because the pre-grated Parmesan has some anti-caking agent. So if you get a pre-grated Parmesan, make sure you get it free of the anti-caking agent because then they make the eggplant a little bit dense. All right. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. Eggplant is ready. And I'm gonna show you all the dark water that came out of it. Look at that. We're gonna get rid of that. It's time to rinse the eggplant. I already dumped the water. This water is still bitter and dark. Okay. So I'm gonna get the oil going so we can fry the eggplants. I also turned the oven on to 400 degrees. So while the eggplants are frying, the oven is heating, and then we get to layer our eggplants with the sauce, our smoked mozzarella cheese, and then about 15-20 minutes in the oven just for everything to heat through and the cheese to mix and mingle with the sauce and to get to be bubbly and delicious. And we have eggplant parmesan. So these are the eggplants that we salted to get rid of the bitterness. I'm just gonna dry them with a little piece of paper towel to make it easier for them to be dredged. These are the last two pieces. Let's get into dredging. It's really easy. I have it set up very easy for you. It goes like this. Flour, egg mixture with Parmesan cheese, plate. And then it's gonna go from here into the oil. So here we go again. We're gonna do that over and over again. Flour, egg mixture, plate. Once again, flour, egg mixture. All the drippings that come on the plate, we're gonna reuse. Stack them up. The best way to check on your oil to see if it's ready for you, put the end of a wooden spoon in the oil. When you see those little bubbles around it, you see that? Oil is ready. By the way, I ended up having to use 6 eggs instead of 4 eggs. So the eggplant ended up needing 6 eggs. So I'll make sure I'll correct that in the description box. You want to fry them on medium-high heat so the Parmesan and the eggs do not get burnt before the eggplant is actually cooked all the way through, because in the oven we're only heating it up. And we're done. The very last piece of eggplant is done. Now I'm gonna have to assemble it. So we're done frying the eggplants. This is what I have right here. We're gonna start assembling. To assemble, we're just gonna start layering tomato sauce and eggplant. Now, it doesn't take a lot of tomato sauce to layer this. This is my homemade tomato sauce, and there's a link below. Check it out, and you'll know how to make Mama Cooks Love tomato sauce. Alrighty, now assemble time. Between each layer of eggplant, we're gonna do a little bit of sauce, a little bit of cheese, and a little bit of basil. We'll probably end up with 3 layers of eggplant in this beautiful Parmigiana. So the very last layer is done. I went really generous, as you saw, with the tomato sauce. I added the basil and the cheeses, and now we're gonna put it in the oven until it gets yummy, ooey gooey, bubbly. The cheese melts in the sauce. 25 minutes, it should be ready at 400 degrees oven. I wish you could smell this. It's been about 25 minutes and the whole house smells perfumey, tomato, basil, smoked, lightly smoked actually. It just smells so amazing. It's bubbly, it's delicious. I let it sit for just 2 minutes so I don't get the bubbles on me, and I'm gonna have to taste a piece for you. See that? I can't wait. So balanced. Eggplant is so delicious. It still has a little bit bite. It took me right back to Sorrento. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. Hit like, subscribe, share it. Love, light, and blessings.